Hey, I guess we're ready to get started. Shall we call this finance committee meeting to order?
I think we're doing board of directors.
Oh, we are. We're not doing finance? Oh, good. Meeting adjourned. Good job, Steve.
Okay, all right, good evening. I will call to order the Board of Directors meeting for ETAS. Let's begin with the introduction of guests. So I'm Teddy Rowland, Board Chair.
I'm Holcomb staff.
Georgie McNamara, staff.
Stu May, Treasurer Board.
Ed Van Haley, board member.
Debbie Pryor, board member.
Susan Borgmeyer, board member.
Robin Meyer, staff.
Brandon Smiley staff.
Kristen Yates, staff. Ashley Garrison, staff.
Christina, staff.
Alex Label staff.
Erin Sherwood, staff.
Brian Hogan, Blue Valley.
Shannon Wiley Navarro, staff.
Sarah Mudd with CDD.
Terry Booth with CDD.
Judy Granger with CDD.
Aaron Martin with Job One.
And Hope Star Job One.
And online.
Eve McGee, board member.
Courtney Sweeney, Easter Seals.
Suzanne Yardley, Easter Seals.
JD
Kristen-
Bank staff.
Kristen Blugager, also Easter Seals.
Kelly Logan, Job One.
Marissa Marchitelli Hepper, Job One.
Roy McLaughlin, Firefly.
Jillian Braun, staff.
Did we get everybody? Did Jennifer just join? Who did? Jennifer.
Also, Chelsea Flores, Job One.
Okay, and then Jennifer.
Yes, ma'am. Jennifer Hume, Hume Resources.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming in on a cold Christmas season night. So I believe the first thing we need to do is a motion to amend the agenda because we have a couple of new business and old business items that were left off the agenda. So we're going to add some separate votes on the plan related to Blue Valley and Job One, and then also something we briefly talked about last time but didn't get to was taking care of the 2025 write-off for Blue Valley, and then those are the two additions. Correct? Did I get it? Yes. So if I could have a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
And I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, anyone opposed? Okay, so we have amended the agenda. So Robin, when you finalize that, you can add those items. Dr. McGee, we have secretary reports for the two November meetings.
Alrighty, Robin sent out the November meeting minutes for the two meetings. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, I propose that we accept the November meeting minutes as presented.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, those reports will be accepted. Thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to our old business, which the first part of it is you want to explain,
I think the first thing that we'd like for you to take up is the plan for Blue Valley in 2026. The proposal as we have it in front of you, and I don't mean to presuppose what you're going to decide. The proposal as we have it in front of you is is funding for the Blue Valley workshop for $451,450. So that's 451,450. And I don't think this would need to be part of the motion, but to let you know, and Tracy, you'll certainly want to take note of this. The plan would be 371,450 would be divided by 12 and paid out monthly. And the other $80,000 would be a not to exceed amount to backstop losses throughout the year. So that would be one motion that would be part of that plan. The other motion that would be part of the plan would be $400,000 of supplemental funding for job one to do community employment at Blue Valley.
So these are things that we've met a few times to discuss, and we had our meeting here a few weeks ago. Both at it, job one, and then get any questions answered. There seemed to be a consensus on this plan to move forward. But we do need to do a roll call vote, just like we do all of our other funding proposals. And I will need to abstain.
Can I speak to this?
Sure.
Before we do move on. First of all, I want to acknowledge Brian and his team and what they've done. I've gotten to know Brian and marvelous partner in the community, and it breaks my heart to see what we're going through right now. And to Aaron and Ann, probably not a better run business in the area. I've told Ann she's a genius, and she absolutely is. Their facility is remarkable. What they've done is incredible. The only thing I am concerned about, just being very candid with the entire board and the management team, I am going to, for the rest of my life, probably wonder why we didn't explore other opportunities, why we didn't bring those forward and discuss them. I think this is a good option for us. I think that it may be the only option for us, but I am really concerned that we did not look at the other options. And I think as a team, as a board, as a management team, that's failure. Just being very candid. So anyway, that's all I got to say.
Nasty?
Sure.
I agree wholeheartedly with Ed. I thought that. I felt a little, as a board member, pressured and manipulated. So this is good. We have a heavy load on our shoulders. To spend the taxpayers' money, and it's one of my top priorities. So this is hard.
Is there any other comment?
I have a question.
Sure.
So Tommy said 400,000 to job one.
Job one for
community.
operating the Blue Valley Community Employment.
Yeah. So that's in addition to this 825. That was the funding that they got for.
Yes.
Okay. And just to be sure. Blue Valley will still do their workshop in the same building.
For 2026.
For 2026. Are there contracts?
Certainly there will be funding contracts like there always.
But that, what was it? I might be wrong. When this all started, it was because they had lost contracts. And they had lost contracts and there was, and they had no work. I was shocked at our last meeting when suddenly we had contracts, and I thought, well, I thought it was kind of over, but it's, I just.
I can ask Brian to speak to that, but my understanding is there potential contracts?
So, the thing, we've always been working to get new contracts. It's never been game over. The plan was always trying to find the best road forward. And so, we sort of continued on contracts. Sometimes they just don't come timely. And so things we're in discussions with just didn't come earlier in the year when it might have helped more. So we have a contract that did come later in the year, but it's supposed to arrive on July 5th. So that's a big growing contract. It's starting small, but it's supposed to grow really big. We have other customers that we're working with. Other customers that are growing next year, just is supposed to look different than this year did. So you know, we just have to wait to sort of see how that plays out. But the belief is that our contracts will be substantially better. Earnings for our people will be better. We'll be looking to find new ways to condense that so that people have some of the opportunities to make use of what Job One's bringing into the door. So it's gonna be a really interesting year. And you guys can speak to that, but it should be more telling as the year goes on.
Thing.
Um,
So we won't know if what we're putting into that is going to be successful until the end of the year.
So if I could just clarify, the contracts that Brian's talking about would be in the workshop.
Yes,
The two amounts that we're talking about for the workshop that add up to the 451,450 number.
Right.
The 371 portion is based on our normal formula for
for the
workshops.
workshop, okay,
And we would pay that
anyway,
anyway,
Yes.
regardless of.
Yeah.
Of potential change in control. The other $80,000, we only pay if they're losing money on a monthly basis to backstop that.
okay.
So if it turns out they're much more successful
Then they won't.
than expected, then they won't need that. Now, of course, it is possible, as Brian said, these things don't always happen during the year when you want them to. So it's possible that they'll need that $80,000 in January and February and March. And then do better later in the year.
Yeah, of course. So, and then keep in mind is that, you know, we know that those contracts are starting small early on. But a lot of that is sort of identified in the pro forma that Ann and Aaron and I worked on. As people are doing a lot of services as they start going out of our walls, then we're not gonna have as much DESI funding. And so it's really to fill that gap. To make sure that everybody's services are whole way through transition. I think that's why it's just as an immediate thing as.
And that 80,000, was that originally 100,000?
It was a bigger number originally. But originally, there was only 300,000 built in for the other part of that. The total is the same as what we've talked about all along.
Okay.
I had a question about how many people will still be in the workshop, working in the workshop that we're talking about, and how many are expected to go. I know we keep talking about 50, but I'm not clear if the 50 is the total number, or if it's 50 that are gonna go and how many will be left behind, or anticipated that they will.
Go ahead, Brian.
And you want,
Don't go ahead.
well, I think it's gonna depend on, in the beginning, everybody's going to continue to go to the workshop in the beginning. As we begin to figure out how to build out these new service choices, then we.
And that's the 50-ish
Yes,
number.
That's, okay, so that's the total,
But
okay.
then the goal is to find out, what do people, if there's more, a bigger service menu, what do people want? Where is a good fit? And also align with the work that's actually there. So instead of having people on downtime, let's do other things that they might choose to do. Let's find a community job. Let's do things in the community. And then when they're with work that is there, let's have people doing that work because it's the work that's a good fit for their skills. But I don't have any idea yet what that mix looks like. So we're trying to build a runway so that in the beginning, everybody keeps coming, their days feel normal while we kind of start figuring out what are individualized plans for each person. And that's what we did at Job One in 23 and 24. And it took us 2 years to do that. And so we know we don't want to go too fast because that is harmful.
Sure.
We want to make sure that we're doing this in a really thoughtful way. And so that's the support we're asking for, is to give us the support so that we can, build a team, right, to do the community services. And also give Brian's team the support they need so that people, while we're figuring this out, don't feel like the rug's been pulled. You know, that's really the, and then as these contracts come in that we believe are gonna be big, then figure out, okay, so who are the right people to be working on those contracts? Cause that's what they would choose anyway. And it's just it's a big puzzle to do it right.
Right, no, I understand
Yeah,
all
no,
that.
yeah,
There was a number that I wanted. I'm a data person.
It's who we're trying to make sure don't lose their services as we go through this change.
Okay,
And am I correct that, so roughly half of your people have a Medicaid waiver,
Right.
and the Medicaid waiver is what you need for community type service. And so right away, you've got half the people that would apply to, but in the coming year, you will work on the other half of people, but we don't want to leave them behind from community outreach type projects, even if they're not yet eligible on the waiver, which is a 1 year wait on the waiver, is that right?
You're absolutely right. That is an important point. And that's also what we did. You guys supported that supplemental and we did this at job one. We worked to start getting people waivers, talking to their families about working on that process once we got started. But let's say there's somebody who doesn't have a waiver, but there's also not work for them today. But there's an outing happening that they want to go on. They can go. That was what we didn't worry about where the funding was coming from during those 2 transition years, because we had the support from ETOS to pay for salaries for the staff. And then what we saw happen, of course, is as people got their waivers, then the Medicaid funding came in behind them, and that's where we are today. So you are still funding us, but at a much lower amount, more to kind of fill in some of the gaps around the edges.
That's a point. I share the concern about the amount of money that's being spent this year. But if you go back and you look historically at the number of people that we served at job one and how much ETOS funding we received, if you look at especially our numbers this current year, I think we were approved for around 700,000 this year. Before we did our transformation, you guys were giving us 1 every single year. We are raising more than $500,000 a year. We have other alternative funding sources we're building on contracts. So I think from a long-term perspective, my feeling is you'll be spending less money on the same number of people receiving services in the county as time goes on. If you just simply because we're not just relying on DESI and DESI funding to provide services.
I know you guys have a big.
We have a big plan.
and I have one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm just curious, and then I may have just missed this. I'm the newer kid on the block, I realize, but what is plan B if we don't do this funding, and what is your plan B? Because I haven't. Right.
Looking at the financials at Blue Valley, I mean, I think the reason that we're here having this conversation, the reason that there's a sense of urgency on this is because, eventually Blue Valley run out of money.
I think we.
So there is no plan B.
We sent in Ed and Stu and Rory, who's Teddy's husband, to work closely with Blue Valley to help figure all this out. And I think, Ed, you might have been the one that called me and said 3 to 4 months tops.
Well, Brian's been very transparent about the financials. He's shared everything, and we could see this coming. I mean, we worked frantically to try to build an income stream. It just didn't happen, and it's just it's unfortunate that it happened, and we tried. And yes, I called you in I believe September. Brian is once again very transparent about the financials, and we took a look at it. He said December 31st was probably it, and that's where we're at. So that's what happened. My only point was, once again, I want to make sure I clarify. I wish we would have looked at all the options possible and done due diligence. That was my only point. I just think that that's a failure on our part at this table. And I just wish we would have, done that. So we didn't. No, Brian.
But if it's fair to make So, you know, we've been building up our Discovery Prospects DFH community program for a number of years, and it really is doing great things. and It's pretty cool. But so, you know, every year to make that work, we've come to ETOS for about $145,000. So we're not asking for that going into next year. So the ask coming to Blue Valley goes down that. And so that then is kind of going into what job one is in terms of community employment as part of that. However you look at that. So, you know, I heard you say that you felt pressured. And I really feel bad
I
about
did,
that.
I'm sorry, but I did.
Because, yeah, it's fair. I mean,
Okay.
it's just, look, we've tried to be completely transparent and worked really hard over the last months to present you with a plan that we think is what's really in the best interest of the people we serve, not us, not the best of the people we serve.
I think maybe that would have been avoided had we looked at other options. It was just like, this is it. And I think maybe it's something to keep in mind if this ever happens again. Let's look at other options instead of just say, oh, this is one and that's it. So how do you know what the others have to offer?
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? So we'll need a roll call vote for this. We'll need a motion and a second. And Robin, you'll call the roll for me? I appreciate that.
And this is for the, BVI?
This is just the BVI, so it would be a funding allocation of $451,450 for Blue Valley Industries for 2026 funding.
Teddy?
Abstain.
Ben is not here. Stu?
Yes.
Do we have a motion?
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, we do need a motion. So you call me up. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so did you get that? George and Stu. Now you can call the roll.
Okay. Teddy abstained, Ben's not here. Stu, you said yes?
Yes.
Eve?
Abstain.
Ed?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Nick is not here. George?
Yes.
That is 5 yeses.
And to abstain.
2 abstain. 2 not here.
So the motion passed. So then the second part of that needs to be voted on would be funding for job one, supplemental funding to get the programming up and running during 2026. So are there any additional questions on that part of it? If not, if there's a motion,
I move that we allocate $400,000 to job one.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, Robin, you call the roll this time.
Teddy?
Yes.
Ben's not here. Stu?
Yes.
Eve?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
That is 8 yeses, 1 not here.
Why not here or two? Two naked
Oh,
bits.
sorry.
Seven.
2 not here.
Seven.
All right, so the motion passed. Okay, then that moves us into Tom's 2026 budget we have, which includes those numbers, correct?
It does.
Yes, okay.
To be clear, it's not my budget, it's your budget.
You wrote it.
Yeah. Let me clean this up for you. We're not gonna talk about a lot of details here. I'll tell you that I'm calling this draft 3. You may say, wait, I didn't see draft 2. There wasn't much there to see. The only things that have changed since draft one that you saw last month. The changes related to Blue Valley and Job One that you just approved were anticipated and are included here. In addition to that, I removed 5 part-time positions related to the DOT expansion, which I believe it's your intention to delay for a year. And I removed $200,000 for replacing the roof on the Prospect building. Otherwise, this is the same thing you saw before. So just bring out the summary page, and then you have questions, I'll be happy to entertain those. After those changes, we're showing an operating loss, that is to say a loss that does not reflect any depreciation or capital expenditures. A loss of $336,000 and some change. It also includes almost 1.3 million in capital expenditures, which is what's left after we removed the 200,000 for the roof.
And then that operating number, that 336,000 number includes a write-off, am I correct?
It does not.
I thought it included 320,000, the CDD buildings.
Yeah, okay, so, I'm sorry, let me back up. It does include the debt forgiveness on the CDD buildings
Okay.
that we discussed before.
That helps.
With how much?
328,000. My mind was another place when you said right off, but. So. Questions, or you want to see more details, or, I've got a cool graph. But
Which
please.
I love grass.
we had talked about, historical information.
That's my cool graph.
So your cool graph.
All right. That's the way to share that. Like this. Share. See if there's a way I can blow this up a little bit for you. Okay, so, I know you can't see actual numbers here, but I just wanted to show you kind of the pattern involved. So the bottom lines, there's actually a dark green line and a dark blue line that are almost together there at the bottom. And those reflect, the budgets from 2018 through 2024, the net income or loss that operating budget that we adopted. So one of the lines is the original budget that was adopted at the beginning of the year. And the other line is the final budget after all the amendments during the year are taken into consideration. So it's almost exactly the same. As you can see there in 2021, we budgeted for an operating loss that was 1.6 million. I'm going to call it fuchsia colored line above. It is the actual results for each of those years. So what the graph displays is that every year from 2018 to 2024, actual results were at least a little and in some years, a lot better than what we budgeted for. It's no guarantee that the same thing happens in 2026. I don't have a crystal ball. But I just wanted to give you a little runway, a little sense of history and trend there. I started in 2018 because that's when I started with ETOS, and so those were the numbers that were easily available to me. I stopped in 2024 because 2025 isn't over yet. I don't know what those actual numbers are going to be.
Do you have a question?
I do. A couple. You have history beyond me. I might. Originally, when we started the sport coordination team, wasn't it supposed to be a profit center? Okay. What are we gonna do if we don't get a raise this year? How long do we continue to do this? And I get it that it's it's billable hours. I'm concerned, continue to be concerned, just being candid.
I think what we had talked about the last time was that the fund balance was generated by support coordination.
I get it.
And so we could operate it at a deficit for a little while, not for long. So the plan was to do that.
Well, the money is money though, it's in a pot. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't separate, it's like separating molecules of water in a glass, it's in a pot. Regardless of who has generated that income, we're now spending it in deficit mode. That's the reality.
And that's the point of it.
Maybe I wasn't clear enough on the conference call. I'm a little, somewhat discouraged by the fact that we couldn't, clean up some of this year. I'm afraid, my fear is we're gonna look back 11 months from now and we're going to have more problems. I don't see any additional revenue generation. We have no guarantee there's gonna be a raise on the support coordination funding.
We guarantee it will not.
Probably not, yeah, well, in 2027, is it gonna be the same thing all over again? This could be a downward spiral. I'm just gonna publicly know that I have concern. And Stu voiced his concern last time, and I think we need to be very careful.
And that's the point of the retreat on March 21st.
Right.
Is for us to sit down and talk this through and make some decisions.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're approving a budget today and
I mean, I think that we want to be reactive between November and December. Where it'd be more to be strategic with a long-term focus come next spring when we get together and look at what our long-term planning is.
But it is unfortunate that that it's happened this way. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that we couldn't have done that first and then done the budget.
I mean, I just don't think that.
But I don't know how
Last
I don't know
time
how we would have done it.
We were pretty much assured by the people in Jeff City that work with our politicians that they were gonna give us the raise. Lincoln Huff was the budget chair. He lost his position. And one of the reasons, my understanding is that he was fighting really hard for the budget raise.
Yeah.
And so I get that it's operating at a loss. I don't think we can make huge decisions when we've had a deficit budget before.
All right.
And we were not saying that we're gonna have an ongoing deficit budget. We said we are not going to have an ongoing deficit budget. So what are we gonna do instead?
Yeah.
And that's
That's what we're gonna
strategic
do.
planning, and it takes a needs assessment. What do people in Jackson County really need? Where are we helping and where are we not?
And we have a fantastic sport coordination team.
Oh, we do.
I absolutely believe in them, and it's not them necessarily, it's just, I don't like red ink, and it's just me, and I think at some point in time, we do need to address this. I've said all I can say.
It's also really kind of hard that budget cycles really don't line up. You know, so we're planning a budget here in December to go into effect in January. The state does the same thing in June, July. So by the time the state makes some decisions about, oh, we're gonna make some plans, it's gonna work out, we're gonna get excited like, oh, we're good. And when they pull the rug from underneath, it's halfway through our budget year. And so then we have to kind of adjust. And so that's the other plan about meeting in March to look at and say, okay, so planning ahead for next year and years going forward, what can we do to absorb what the state's gonna do? And the federal government, basically, so.
Anyone else? I my opinion, my position is, I made some notes, that, this budget maintains our essential services. It ensures our financial stability and moves us toward long-term sustainability. So it's reflecting responsible stewardship, balancing, our services, still maintaining all of our services, with the reality of rising costs and staffing pressures and funding constraints and all of those things. So I don't have super concerns about this number this year. Because, like I said, 328.
Yeah,
that building.
328.
So, and our reserves are strong. So for the short term, I think that we are looking at and talking about what we are going to do. Because, we did go into sport coordination, in 2006, 6, I don't know, that's before me. And, in times have changed, things have changed, situations have changed. The state has changed and doesn't want to give us funding for this. So that may change our long-term plan, and maybe, like Georgia said, we need to do a needs assessment and get a better handle on how we should be operating for a long-term outlook. But I'm comfortable with this number this year. I get what you're saying about long-term. And we've really got to talk about it. Any other discussion? Is there a motion to approve the budget?
Are we here to approve the budget in this committee? Do we recommend?
No,
that we approve the
we're in the
budget?
board meeting.
Oh, okay.
We're not in the finance meeting.
I was like, oh, what's wrong?
You came in late.
I was finance, my bad.
It was a quick one.
Apparently. That being said, I make a motion that we approve the budget for 26.
Sure.
You can do a second and then you can ask your question.
I'll do a second.
And is there any discussion, any further discussion?
Yeah, I understand where we're at. But my point is this. I will not approve another budget like this unless there's extenuating circumstances. We have got to be cash flow neutral. So going forward, I'm not going to approve a budget like this. I just want to go on the record. That's all I'm going to say.
Any other discussion? All right, Robin, will you call? We're gonna do a roll call.
Betty,
Yes.
no, Stu,
Yes.
Eve,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Thank you.
George.
Yes.
That is 8 yeses, 1 not here.
Okay, thank you. Budget pass.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you, Tom and Georgie and all of their staff for all the hard work you put on this. I know it
I killed a tree.
worked hard to get it down.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you. Thank you.
Okay, so then under new business, the first thing we wanted to add is the discussion of the funding. So we had approved earlier this year, I don't remember what month that was in, with $35,000 for Blue Valley Industries for supplemental funding. They've used 30,000 of that amount, and Tom is in need of a budget amendment. Is that correct?
Let me be clear.
Okay.
There's nothing that says you have to write that off. If you want to try to collect it, that's certainly the board's prerogative. But if you're going to write it off anyway, I'd like you to do it now. So I don't have to have a conversation with my auditors about why it was collectible in December. So if you would consider writing that off now, that'd be helpful for me.
Is there no need for the additional $5,000?
Well, yeah. So there's always a need, but the truth is that I've been trying to be very careful as we ask. So we're making it at this point.
So it's a no.
Yeah, yes.
I move that we write off $30,000 owed by BBI.
I'll second that. Please.
If we could have the minutes reflect that we're writing that off as an additional funding item. And we'll be amending the budget accordingly for 2025.
Well said.
That's okay with the person who made the motion in a second. Okay.
Okay. Teddy,
Abstain.
Ben not here. Stu,
Yes.
Eve,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Susan.
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
7 yeses, 1 not here, 1 abstain.
Thank you.
So the motion passed. All right, so then our next item under new funding was an additional funding request for CDD.
Now Sarah's here, if she'd like to speak to it, but if you'd like.
Sure, perfect. This could be easy compared to all this going on. So we have had additional food expenses because of the SNAP benefits, and it continues to be a problem because it's not all settled, and some people are gonna have to reapply and some people don't, and some people are getting fully funded, some people aren't. So we're just asking for $10,000 to help us continue to fund the ISLs that are short. We have a market that Judy started, and people could come in and pick up kits, so they're pre-made kits of balanced meals, or they can pick up items that they like. So right now, we're not charging anybody for it. It's open to all the clients in the ISL program. And we've opened it up to some of the staff who have been struggling.
I would just say we're also doing a food drive, so we're trying to collect in the
Okay.
community. So in our parking with the Chiefs games, or giving $5 off, or people make a food donation. But primarily, this money is going towards meat and proteins, chicken, fish, and, we bought us some beef, just to keep people fed with good nutritious food versus.
So we'll take Brian's 5,000.
So you see on the news, the
Yeah.
community-based resources, their shelves are bare right now.
Yeah.
I mean, people have needed it, so our folks don't have another place they can really get food when they normally do.
We're hoping this will get us through the rest of December, January. One of the other things that we do is for the ISL folks, that their SNAP benefits are generally not enough to help with the holiday meals and for staff to eat with them during on the holiday. And so CDD has always supplemented that. We've always bought food for people that don't have it for those ISLs. So we just had Thanksgiving, and we'll have Christmas coming up. We'll have a New Year's party. I mean, we've got things going on, people, but
And that would be for the 2025 budget, not the 2026.
I move that we give CDD the $10,000 for.
Second. And amend the budget
And
accordingly.
amend the budget accordingly. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
And since it's technically, sorry, we don't have a second.
Yeah.
He's said, you second.
I do.
Would just be a roll call vote again because it's a funding item.
Teddy,
Yes.
noted. Ben not here. Stu,
Yes.
Eve,
Yes.
Ed,
Absolutely, yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Susan.
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
That is 8 yeses, 1 not here.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Send me an invoice tomorrow.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Just to be clear, Ben isn't skipping this meeting.
No.
He said.
No, he said.
Yeah.
Disney World or Disneyland?
Disneyland.
He made the plan
Yeah.
right after he knew what we were gonna do.
Right, as soon as the date.
Decisions we were making.
We promised him we would think of him.
Kindly.
Are we getting
I didn't promise the kindly. part.
are we getting any other requests for food assistance?
I haven't gotten anything.
I don't know if there's been news through our emergency.
Okay, so there's the holiday party on Friday, correct? Georgie, you would tell everybody what time and where?
11 to 1 across the street.
3508,
3508.
Jose Peppers, the lunch and the finale for Family Feud. Team 1 versus Team 3 for dominance over all of Utah's.
I hope everyone is able to attend. I also had sent out to everyone the executive director evaluation, and thank you for your responses. So if we'll plan to discuss that, I'm still working on putting it together. So if we can do that in January and plan for our closed session to discuss that at that meeting, so we can finish off our year here. And then, so our next meeting in January is, do you know the days?
The 28th. That's what. It's always at the bottom of my board report. They didn't give you one this month.
Yeah.
Come on, get on with it.
27th.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
27.
27th. So I hope everybody has a very happy holiday and a happy and safe new year. And we look forward to 2026. Hope to see many of you on Friday at the luncheon. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Well, if not, then we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye. Anyone
Aye.
opposed?
Who made the motion?
No, we cannot do that. Did you happen to send to?
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.